Friday afternoon right before close. And as you can see, boom, we're down like 6 or 7 yen per USD, which is significant. I mean, any chart that drops like that is something happened. And so the US sold European bonds. That's all I know so far. I don't know it as which country in Europe, or if Europe as a total has a bond. I don't know. I don't think so. But they did. U.S. sold European bonds to buy yen. So that strengthened the yen. And some folks are upset because now the reverse carry trade is canceled again. Just like the Straits of Hormuz are open and closed 11 times. So here we are. But then Evernorth is chugging along. It's going to get bright. Evernorth's chugging along. Well, not for X because they can't see my screen. I wish I could simulcast on X or multicast, whatever it's called. So I didn't even check to see if I'm actually making noise. Now my phone is busy doing X, so I can't check that. But I got back into the poison ivy, it seems. It took me 2 months to get over it in May, but my backyard looks really good. Really, really good. Nice and clean. Grapevines are under control. But I got into that dang poison ivy, I'll tell you what. So, Evernorth's sitting with their new, where'd it go? With their new S4A, amendment number 5. Oh, I got amendment 1 through 4 over here. Now I just got to find the last one. Where you at? New tab. Oh, you're Edge. Oh, yeah, I opened it in Edge. This one Edge as well? No. That's Brave. Okay, so I need this. Copy. New. Click. Paste. Enter. Fancy. Amendment number 5. Here we go. So we got all the amendments. And this is 4. Let's go down to the first chart. Not the first chart. Yeah, I don't know what the point is to having X live right now. Gotta utilize. I see other people utilizing it, so I'm like, cool, I'll try. Okay, so there's public shares. Let's see the number difference. Because 4 was up, but okay. So last couple videos, I picked one where I made one where it's like, oh my God, they're taking all the S4s down, and I can't find them. But I think that is literally I can't find them, not that they can't be found. Because on X, it was awesome. It was a pooled resource where it actually worked. And that's a small one. Small chart. But it works. But I don't know if you guys could see it online. But other people were finding these S4s on the SEC website, in Edgar, in the archives. Searching the archives, I can't find them. They never show up. I type in S, S-dash, S-4, S-4/A. Nothing. But other people can find them, though. And then I go through all of their filings. Can't find it. There are only a couple S4As, back in April and stuff. Oh, shit. That was an alarm. It's time to get up. And so, some reason, I just don't have the skills at this point to search the SC website properly. I can't type in S-4 properly in the search bar. So I got to figure that out. That's just practice. But somebody was cool enough to send a link to me to where the amendment number 5 is located, and I'm going now. So I'm just gonna, let's see. I do need to do 2 separate things. I want that big chart. Oh well, we got 2 little charts over here, so I apologize about that. You probably can't even see it. And X definitely can't see it. I don't know what the point of X is to have it going. Oh man. Oh boy. Evernorth. Oh wow. Gotta fight the computer these days. No, I don't want 4. I do want 4, but not right now. I'm down a screen. I only have 2 screens left because a couple of years ago I was putting my took my 70-inch screen off the wall, and I was gonna clean the wall and patch some holes from like where I had like floating shelves on the wall and repaint it and all that. So I did all that, got it all looking good. Went to put my 70-inch screen back on, which you shouldn't do that alone, is what I learned. And the worst noise in the world happened, and I cracked it. I was pushing my thumbs in too hard, trying to get it balanced up there, and just spiderweb the whole thing. So then I had to take my third 50-inch screen that was like my backup up on the wall for the PC, like my staging area and research area for my master's, and take that out there. So now I'm down a screen in here, which is not great. So we're still at 23 million public share float. And I don't see redemptions happening. I mean, obviously there's people that know a lot more than me, and there's probably scenarios where it will happen, and people probably get that. But like, what you're going to redeem the black hole of liquidity, the most pristine collateral asset into fiat. Like, anybody who buys, well, I mean, well, see, they're early investors, and they want to free up liquidity to do other things. So there could be redemptions of of the shares, and the warrants are a whole other thing. I got to figure that part out. But fully diluted, we're at like somewhere between 140 and 170 million shares. But yeah, so I'm leaning towards low redemptions, like 25% or less. But I guess, wouldn't it be better? Well, are the shares destroyed? I can't see. I need another thing because I can't look this up. Are shares destroyed when they are redeemed? That's why I need a call. Yes. Shares are generally destroyed, canceled when they are redeemed. Upon redemption, the shares are typically canceled or no longer outstanding, meaning they cannot be reissued or transferred. Ooh, okay. Let's just go with that. I still think it's going to be a low redemption, a low percentage redemption, which they lay out in the charts, which X can't. Ooh, you're gone. Oh, it times out after a while. And I got a curved screen, so there we go. I need a phone holder. Oh, I could put one on the wall and like have it move around. Ooh, I'm gonna set up my station properly. I'll probably do that when I buy more than a $10 microphone. Probably do that around the same time as I upgrade my microphone from $10 to more than $10. whatever. So I'm saying low redemption, but with my quick Google search, not Google search engine, my my Brave search, um, it seems like any redemption lowers the total. Oh, man, I gotta ask about that. Let's do it over here. Redeeming shares lower the total share count for a SPAC upon closing. When a SPAC completes the de-SPAC transaction, merging with a private target, public shareholders have the right to redeem their shares, blah, blah, blah. Redemption does not lower the total share count at the closing of the de-SPAC. Instead, it reduces the number of SPAC shares held by the public shareholders, but the total shares outstanding on the combined company after the merger is determined by the post-merger capitalization of the target company plus the new shares. So they could issue new shares. That's interesting. So, okay. So this public share outstanding 23 million is that's the SPAC before the business combination is consummated. So it'll lower the amount of SPAC shares of Armada Acquisitions 2. So then it'll go live. Man, I gotta think my way through this. Let's not. Let's have something think for me. Create a scenario where XRPN, the SPAC, the SPAC, create a scenario where XRPN, the SPAC, has 50% redemption rate upon consummation of the business combination. Okay. Then what do I want to ask? How likely are they to issue more shares? How does this affect shareholders? No. What I really want is, how does this affect XRP per share and the likeliness of issuance of more shares. Can you guys see it? You can't. X can't see it. Hey, quit doing whatever you're doing. X can't see it, and that is what is happening. But this one can probably see it, but it's probably small. All right. In this hypothetical scenario, XRP net cash per share. That's not what I wanted. XRPN or the SPAC. Oh, gross. Every time you got to train at that XRPN, it's Evernorth. XRPN is Evernorth. You got to remember. Are you doing something? All right, now we're on target. Ew, see my double chin on this one. That's gross. In the Evernorth model, value is driven by XRP density. Correct. Evernorth plans to use likelihood of additional share into So at 50% share redemption, that's 11.5 million public shares at the consummation of the business strategy. Evernorth loses roughly 500 million in purchasing power. Oh yes, they lose the purchasing power because they have to pay, but the cashless settlement, that's for warrants. Um, I'm learning all this. It's a lot to keep together. So they lose 500 million in purchasing power because they got to pay out the redemptions. Okay. Mm-hmm. So instead of buying the projected 500 million XRP tokens to add to their existing 473 million, they would only be able to acquire half that amount. While the share count decreases due to redemptions, the sponsor promote founder share, the sponsor promote, which is founder shares, remains fixed. This means the remaining public shares represent a smaller pool of the total XRP than originally modeled. The XRP share count metric would be significantly lower than the bull case predict, directly reducing the intrinsic asset value. So they're saying if a high redemptions rains cash, which drains their war chest, so they can't buy as much XRP. Pipe, the defined pipe, I forgot what it was. It's an initial investment pipe. I can't remember the acronym. Evernorth's business plan relies on reaching a specific scale, about $1 billion in assets, which they have over $1 billion. Be viable as a 50% redemption creates a capital shortfall and threatens core thesis. Okay, so even in this case, redemptions are bad because it drains the war chest. It destroys shares. But then they could, after the SPAC consummates the business combination, they could have more share. I don't know. Okay, keep going. Dilutive financing. To compensate for the redeemed cash, Evernorth would almost certainly need to expand its private investment in public equity. That's a pipe round. They would need to issue new shares to institutional investors. So that goes back. Okay, so they would have to issue new shares to raise capital to buy more XRP. And so I was doing research into what scenarios would cause them to initiate a stock split. And DATs are different creatures. People that research in DATs, digital asset treasuries, they are completely different creatures. Keeps going dark. I don't know if it's going to shut off afterwards. I don't know. So, and what I found, which was AI research and a bunch of other stuff, was that they probably won't do a stock split in the foreseeable future because they're going to do the Berkshire Hathaway approach, where they just let it ride. Like price per share, they could let it go up hundreds of thousands, like Berkshire Hathaway, 600,000, something like that, and because they're not worried about retail. So the assumption I went into that stock split with is that Evernorth is focused on institutions and central banks and sovereign wealth funds and hedge funds and 401ks and pension funds, excuse me, and all that, and not worried about retail so much. So that makes the price per share doesn't matter because it's not retail. And with the inclusion of tokenized shares coming up here October, T plus zero in October is what we're being told. Although everything else has been kicked down the road, so we'll we'll burn that bridge when we get there. Um, I lost the train of thought. So XRP, so Evernorth would probably not do stock splits, but the one situation or one caveat that would make them do stock splits is to get indexed, is to be listed on the Nasdaq and even the Texas or whatever, what is Japan's stock exchange? I forget. Not the mic. Kopi, something like that, and Kopi Lua, and so that would be a scenario where they would do a stock split is to get indexed. But then, yeah, oh yeah, the tokenized. But with token, this poison ivy, oh boy, and but I got all the itch creams and salves. I got all the salves and the calamines and the and it's just day two, so like gotta be careful where you gotta be careful where you touch, and learn that the hard way. It goes everywhere, all the creases. So tokenization, that means retail, even if they list it on the exchanges and get it indexed at 600,000, $1 million a share, which is what I think will happen. They retail could buy a thousandth of a share, and you have exposure. So that makes me lean back towards no stock split, but a high redemption scenario, 50%, 75% redemption. They'll have to issue more shares, which dilutes the XRP exposure per share of the original holders. So I don't know. Or a stock split. I don't think that would help that much. Yeah, that could help, right? I'm hoping for a stock split because if you believe in XRP and you believe in the bearer asset of Evernorth, right now we're sitting somewhere between, I think it's hard to say, but 6.7. Let's just round that up to 7 XRP per share of Evernorth. If you think XRP is going to do something, um, a stock split would be kind of cool. That increase your multiplier. I mean, you would still have the same amount of exposure. So instead of three, instead of let's just say 6 shares. That's hard because Sally sells she shares. Um, you would be down to like three XRP per share, but you'd have double the shares, so it'd still be the same exposure. But like in my case in particular, I want it because I'm setting up, not financial advice, but I'm setting up a traditional IRA where you put Evernorth in there, and once it appreciates, like I think it will, you set up a SEPP, significant, blah blah blah. It's monthly structured payments. I forget, it's an acronym. I forgot what it is. Then there's 3 different choices of a SEP. You use choice number 1 for my case, which is the RMD, which you could reevaluate the monthly. You could do 6 months, a year, annual payments. I'm going to do monthly for now, and but every year you reevaluate it because your assets appreciating. And if they did a stock split, that'd be better for me because I think XRP is going to appreciate. So then, because you're going to have to sell the asset, which rule number one, never sell your principal. But I got a couple that are going to be my sacrificial shares, my sacrificial assets. And once they appreciate, I do the SEP RMD version. And then if they do a stock split, then it's like selling off smaller chunks. And what I believe will happen is that as XRP appreciates, I have to sell off less and less Evernorth. Like first 5 years, I have to. Let's say they don't do a stock split, so we're still at 7 XRP per. So first 7 years, I have to sell like two, or first 5 years, I have to sell two. Next 5 years, because I'm 45, so I got 14 and a half years for this IRA to fund my monthly payments, 168 months, give or take. So that's 168 months of monthly payments. So you divide, blah, blah, blah. So first 5 years, I sell a couple. Next 5 years, maybe I have to sell one. And then the final 5 years, maybe one again with cash left over. Then I hit 49 and a half, 59 and a half. Then I could take those out in kind, roll them into my Roth, which I also set up. And then at 59 and a half, all that appreciation in the Roth is tax free, and I can move all my traditional IRAs into the Roth tax free. Probably not. There's probably taxable events there. Or so then I could just cash it all out, pay the taxes, and then you sold your principal, which you never ever do. But I put these Evernorth into the traditional IRA. Specifically, they're sacrificial. I already said my goodbyes to them. If they come back, if they're the prodigal Evernorth, then even better. And then I'll just hold them. And so with the stock split, that would be even better for me in that situation. It wouldn't change my exposure. I'd still have the same amount of XRP exposure, but I could sell off smaller chunks at a time. Smaller slices of the pie. So in that case, for me, a stock split would be good, I think. So that's what I'm working with. And then like that's 0.01% of my assets. So 100th of a % of my assets that I'm sacrificing. So the 99.99, get those into some institutional custody, do the institutional arbitrage with Section 404 of the Clarity Act, start playing the big boy games just like Evernorth's going to do, get my LLC holding company set up, and then I could play with the big boys. I'm the small fish swimming with the sharks, and that's going to be something I want to do. But yeah, so for my traditional IRA, SEPP, RMD, stock split could be good because then I could sell smaller percentage of the principal per time, per monthly payment, and end up with more left over in the asset in kind in 14 and a half years. So that's something I'm looking into. If not, like that's something I'm planning on doing. If not, then I'll just hold it in the IRA for till it's time and pay the taxes on it when it's done, and then not pay the taxes on the Roth, and all my other will be in institutional custody. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I'm still researching, so um, plans could change. All right, here's the summary. If redemptions hit 50%, which I don't think they will, um, the main driver I would say is early investors wanting to get their liquidity back to invest in something else. But what else is there to invest in? XRP is the pristine collateral. So there's everything else would be lesser than. I don't know, but there's people that know more than me, and maybe they just want their hoard back, want they cash. So XRPN would likely still close the merger, giving a strong backing from Ripple and SBI, yes. But the post-merger entity would start with less XRP per share because they couldn't buy more XRP because they had to pay the cash out for their share redemption. I know for the warrants they could do a cashless payout, so that'll save their treasure trove there. Redemptions, I don't think you can. We'll go deep into that and figure it out. And a higher total share count. Oh, a higher total share count because of the pipe. Give me the definition. Private investment in public equity would actually raise the share count higher than the estimated 140 to 170 right now, fully diluted with all the warrants. So it'd be higher than that. So it'd be a double reduction in exposure. So high redemption rate is actually very bad. I mean, probably everybody knew that, but now I know, like, for sure the mechanisms that got us there in Evernorth's or in DAT's scenario, and Evernorth particularly. In particular, this compresses the institutional premium investors might pay over the net asset. Yeah, so that institutional premium is something I'm very excited for, like the leverage play. So, okay, let's go back to a low redemption to no redemption, under 25%. The institutional premium, because due to some math and charts, which I went over in a video, there's a Reddit post saying, the calculations he got through these charts that I'm looking at now, that he got, 97% of the shares are locked up for at least 6 months after the consummation of the business combination. And so that leaves all hedge funds, all 401ks, all sovereign wealth funds, all central banks fighting over 3% of the shares. This is at a low redemption. So we're not going to do the pipe, the public and private investment in public equity. We're not going to do an extra share, create more shares. So this 3% is going to put it at a leverage play, put XRPN at a leverage play where, let's say, XRP goes to 100,000, pristine collateral. XRP ledger is critical infrastructure. So now XRP acts as a functional tier 1 HQLA, high quality liquid asset. So then in that case, you'll have XRP and Evernorth with an exposure of, let's just go with our current numbers, about 7, rounding, 7 XRP per share. Well, so that puts Evernorth at 700,000 a share, and we're gonna assume they're gonna do the Berkshire Hathaway approach, not a stock split. Keep it up there, and they'll still get indexed somehow, just like Berkshire Hathaway did, and because we're going into tokenized, so they don't have, maybe stock splits are a thing of the past now. Like as of October 2026 coming up, stock splits are unnecessary because they're tokenized. So you could buy a millionth, I don't know what their lowest denomination will be, but a millionth of a share. So yeah, maybe all the research I did on stock splits just doesn't count anymore because it's a thing of the past. So that puts everybody fighting for a share of Evernorth of 3% of the total shares, because 97% are locked up, give or take, through some math and charts from that Reddit post. Look it up. I kind of ran the numbers and I saw where he got the numbers. They checked out. So I don't know if it's true or not, but the numbers checked out. So That's going to put an institutional premium. It's going to be hungry hippos, and it's going to trade, you know, 3 to 5, in extreme cases, 10 times. So we're talking 7 million per share of Evernorth all of a sudden. And I know my numbers are outrageous, but like nothing like this ever happened. And just this alone, nothing like this ever happened. And then, in the background, meanwhile, there is the agentic economy spinning up, where GDP was always measured in what humans can produce per period of time. That's irrelevant now. We are post labor market now, because the GDP is going to approach infinity. It's uncapped. It's going to go up towards infinity. And at the same time, the agentic economy is spinning up and production is going to go parabolic. Available supply of XRP is going to approach zero, locked up for the next 50,000 years. Evernorth is going to be a black hole that hunts XRP. Any XRP in these paper hands, Evernorth's going to suck it up. All the paper hand scissors or fingers, it's going to pull the XRP out of people's hands. How are they going to do that? A high and stable price. You're like, oh shit, $5. I was an idiot for thinking that. $100,000, $135,000. Okay, now I'm selling into this fiat. Those are people that don't see the full picture. XRP acting as a functional tier 1 HQLA. It'll have a velocity of like 0.1. It will not move. It'll be a static, pristine collateral. It'll be pledged and unpledged. It will never move. You will never, any XRP that Evernorth gets their hands on, you will never see again. And its velocity, it will never move. It will be static and it'll be pledged. It will never be sold. So that'll do the institutional premium over NAV, net asset value. So it'd be MNAV, a multiple of NAV. And that'll cause institutions, hedge funds, pension funds, retirement fund, all that, sovereign wealth funds, to pay a very high price to get the 3% float of XRPN, because the 6 months, and I think it's at 6 months. That's the first. I think there'll be like 10% released before 6 months, and then it's in the S4. It's hard to find. It's like 1,000 pages. Then at 6 months, 30% get unlocked, and then there's another 6 months where then the rest are unlocked. Something like that. That's close to what is going to happen. Can't remember exactly, but the big one is going to at 6 months, they're going to have to find somebody to buy up 30% of the shares, or a couple somebodies, which I think they'll be beating down the door because of the institutional and so that will cause an institutional premium. So yeah, I don't think they'll do a stock split. I would be okay with a stock split for them to get index is the only reason they would do it, but I don't think you have to do it. Well, hold on. With the tokenization of the stock market, I could sell a hundredth or a thousandth of a share of Evernorth in my IRA, and I'll have an AI agent by then, and it'll be in charge of selling. Let's say it appreciates, and I want like 100,000 a month to be paid out. So it'll sell let's just use current numbers, it'll sell a sixth of a share every month. So every 6 months, one of the shares is gone. That's kind of a high burn rate. Let's do 50,000 at my current. So that's 50,000 a month. So every year, so that'll be a twelfth of a share per year. So every year I'm burning one Evernorth. So that's 14 shares, 14 and a half shares till I'm 59 and a half. That's cool. Okay. So the tokenization of the stock market means I'll maximize my share retention, which is the opposite of I'll minimize my share burn. I'll sell the very minimum per month. So then I'll have 0.9, 0.112, 0.9 something, 8.6 of a share the first month, 0.74 of a share. Well, you know what I mean? Like the ratio. That's cool. That's something I got to start researching now. The tokenization. Oh, that's very cool. So that do the back reverse engineering. That'll tell in 168 months. That'll tell me how many exactly I need. That's something. So yeah, I don't need stock splits at all because of the tokenization. I could sell 1/12 of a share every month. That's cool. Okay. Well, I just figured that out in my brains. So that's exciting. That's just super fun. Well, yeah, XRPN, Evernorth, just released their Fifth Amendment. So, and again, thank you for everybody on X that helped me find those amendments. Because some reason, when I search Edgar, when I search SEC.com, I cannot get these S4s to pop up. I get the S4A from April and March. I get the first two, but 3 and 4 I can't get, and 5 they don't. I don't know how to search for those last 3, but I got them all opened up here because people sent me. Or I guess I found them on my computer somehow last week. So I guess I just forgot how I found them. So there is 11.5 million public warrants. Warrants, I think they're going to handle by cashless redemption or cashless execution, whatever they call it. So I don't think that'll drain their war chest. But it will create, another almost 12 million shares, which isn't a lot. There's more than that then, because they're estimating 140 to 170 shares. So 12 million warrants, that's not, added to that. It's like 70 million. So we're missing 100 million shares somewhere. I don't know how to do the maths to find it. But SBI has 19 million shares. So Japan's like in it to win it with Evernorth. So that means this Sunday night, what is it, 6 p.m. Eastern, when Japan's markets open, that could be spicy because the U.S. Treasury, we intervened in Japan's markets to stabilize the yen by selling European shares. This is in millions. Okay. Assuming 100% redemption. Okay, cool. So they did the math of 100% of the shares are redeemed. which will not happen. Contributed purchase XRP balance sheet cash. It'll be like $1.1 billion. Assumes that the closing XRP price is $1.30. Coinbase reported on March 31st. That cash and trust value, it does not account for additional accrued interest on cash and trust. So they're gaining interest on their cash, which was, I don't remember. Well, that might be the billion. Oh, yeah. So they have $1 billion cash gaining interest, plus Ripple gifted them. Was it Ripple? Or was it SBI? Somebody gifted Evernorth their XRP. They haven't bought any yet. They still have $1 billion cash on hand, minus expenses. But that's gaining interest. The company merger, whereby a company merger subsidiary of PubCo will merge with and into the company, and with the company continuing as a surviving company as a subsidiary of PubCo. It is anticipated to be accounted for as a transaction between entities under common control, blah, blah, blah. Transaction between entities under common control, SPAC merger. What was that? Oh, that was the company merger. That already happened. SPAC merger. SPAC merger saw PubCo will merge into the SPAC Delaware. We got a vote on that. As emerging growth companies defined in Section 2A as security tags, pure play. Startup business startups take advantage of certain exemptions from various reporting requirements that are applicable in other public companies that are not emerging growth companies. All right, so it has some cool tax things and some cool, legal benefits it could do. Conditions to the closing of the transaction. Approval by the SPAC shareholders on the condition precedent proposals. Expect your proxy vote in the mail if you're a registered shareholder, because you got to go to this website. I'm waiting for it to come up. You can't see it. It's easy online documents, Continental Stock Transfer and Trust. It's the website listed in the S4 where you go after. See, the green light's off, so it's just shut itself down. Phones are so ended. Phones are so gay. Ended. Okay, whatever. How do you figure out what you did? Oh, there he is. I don't know how to do this. I need to be able to read the comments or something, right? Click the phone. Broadcast details. Ask to follow. Ask to share. Start sketching. Hide everything. Flip camera. No options. All right, that's dumb. All right, so doing an X Live, not that fun. Whatever. I don't want people to see my face, I guess. Oh, okay. Gotta lose them weights. I am absolutely working out really hard now. As A stock and PubCo warrants have been approved for clearing through DTC and approved for listing on NASDAQ. Yes, okay, that's the conditions and obligations of the company. Other than the approval by SPAC shareholders. Each of the conditions of the closing under business agreement may be waived by the parties. Ooh, except for the voting. So the shareholders, you can't waive that one. All the other ones can be waived. We could be rock and rolling soon. Just waiting for it in my in the mail. Yeah, it's I want to look for more charts. There's charts. So yeah, I think low redemptions. I think tokenization of the stock market is going to play a big role. Will compete against companies and other entities with similar strategies, including companies with significant holdings of XRP and/or other digital assets, ETFs, and XRP. Local digital and adversely affect upon. Well, you're not competing with ETFs. You're going to be running a leverage play of ETF actively managed and institutionally backed by banks. Oh man, I'm only a quarter. I'm on page 62. How many pages we got? 35, 18, 9. What is this? This is a new document at the bottom. 13, 8. Oh, these are all amendments. Or annexes. $260. It's only a couple hundred pages, but 80% of the net assets held in the trust. I guess the numbers I've been looking at, the shareholders. Oh wait, whoa. The SPAC charter authorizes 200 million SPAC share Class A, 20 million Bs, and a million preference shares, each with a par. Blah blah blah. The amended and restarted PubCo charter authorizes 10 billion shares. That's not right. 10 billion shares of capital stock consisting of 7.4 billion shares of Class A. What is this? Authorized shares. Advisory organizational documents. SPAC is asking its shareholders to vote on the governance provisions referred to below, which are included in the proposed organizational document. In accordance with SEC guidance, the proposal is being presented as separate sub-proposals to give shareholders the opportunity to present their separate views on important corporate governance positions, and sub-proposals will be voted on in non-binding advisory. These separate, okay. In the judgment of the SPAC board and PubCo board, these provisions are necessary to adequately address the needs of PubCo and its stockholders following the consummation of the business combination. Accordingly, regardless to the outcome of a vote on the SPAC intends that the proposed organizational documents will take effect at consummation of the business combination. Upon the terms, proposed organizational documents differ materially from SPAC charter. Whoa. So these are what we're going to be voting on. The amended and restated PubCo charter authorizes 10 billion shares of capital stock, consisting of 7.4 billion shares Class A. Huh. I would provide that no director may be removed from office by the stockholders except with the affirmative vote of the holders of at least the minimum percentage of the vote, and blah, blah, blah. Only they can tell themselves what to do. Got it. To approve matters, blah, blah, blah. Wow, 7.4 billion. What does that even mean? Let's post a doodad. Chickens are up and starting to fight. Got to get them outside. I'm probably not reading that right, but who knows? Who knows these things? All right. What was I doing? I was over here. Yeah, I would not mind a podcaster just going through this whole thing and just like an expert, not like me that's, trying to figure everything out, but you know, no formal training in finances or SPACs or, you know, how to diagnose S4s. Like, I don't know that stuff. All right, so this is a bunch of resolved things. I don't know, folks. I think I'm going to call it. Didn't reveal much. I don't even know why I went live right now. I guess because I got up too early and I couldn't go outside yet. Who knows? Who knows why I do what I do? All right. Question below under the title a U.S. holder who, on the date of the SPAC domestication, is not a 10% U.S. shareholder and whose SPAC Class A shares have fair market value or more on the date of the SPAC domestication will recognize gain, but not loss, with respect to the Class A shares received in the SPAC domestication, or, in the alternative, may elect to recognize the all earnings and profits amount attribute to such U.S. holder SPAC Class A shares as described below. Subject to the discussion below under the section entitled Considerations, unless a U.S. holder makes all earnings and profits election as described below, the U.S. holder generally must recognize gain, but not loss, with respect to SPAC Class A shares received by the SPAC domestication equal to the excess of the fair market value over the U.S. holder's adjusted tax basis and the SPAC Class A shares of SPAC deemed surrendered in exchange. Therefore, U.S. holders who hold different blocks of SPAC Class A shares of SPAC, generally SPAC Class A shares of SPAC purchased or acquired on different dates or at different prices, should consult their tax advisors to determine how the above rules apply to them. I'm going to need a professional. In lieu of recognizing any gains as described in the preceding paragraph, a U.S. holder may elect to include in income as a deemed dividend deemed paid by SPAC the all earnings and profits amount attributable to SPAC Class A shares under Section 367B of the Code. There are, however, strict conditions for this. Statement that the SPAC domestication and exchange within the meaning of a complete description of the spec dimension. Oh, weird. Man. Yeah. I wish like a tax lawyer or CPA would be going through this. There has to be one of them online. Just reading through all this. Man, I would watch that nonstop for like 8 hours a day. So, yeah, as of right now, this is over my head. I don't understand it. I mean, whole hodl. I guess I understand it in the sense like hodl, don't sell. So I guess I get it that way. Should consult their tax advisors to determine, or should consult their tax advisors as the tax consequences to them of an exercise of redemption rights, including any potential application of the. I'm just gonna hodl. That'll make it unrealized gains. And it's in some of them are in structured IRAs. Interesting. I don't know, folks. We'll keep it going next time, maybe later on today, because I can't really do any more yard work because I already got the ivy. Oh man, it's in like the ditch of your elbows, behind the kneecaps. Ugh. So I'm trying not to scratch it and spread it, but that never works. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, folks. But no more yard work today because I'm done. Kind of. I know I got to mow in a couple days, but backyard is looking good. Like I moved my fireplace in the back, my fire pit, I guess, and it's looking good. All right. Catch you guys later, folks. Have a good morning. Remember to hodl. Have a good, we're going to have a good life here soon.